Hello, Brickdark here. Today I am doing a comparison between the two Iron Man Hall of Armor sets. These are two sets that both contain areas to hold Iron Man's suits, and they're both similar enough that I think they deserve a comparison. Some basic information about both sets. On this side we have the 76125 Iron Man Hall of Armor, which had 6 minifigures, 524 pieces, and a retail price of $60 in 2019, which in 2021 is about $61. And over on this side, we have the 76167 Iron Man Armory, which released in 2020 with 5 minifigures, 258 pieces, and a retail price of $30, which adjusted for inflation isn't that significant of an increase, so it's just going to stay as $30. Going to be judging this using the M&R system for comparisons, which is Minifigs, Playability, Design, Value, Opinion. Each set can earn a maximum total of 2 points, and the other set will earn 1 point, because that is how many sets there are. So without further ado, let's get into the Minifigs category. The two figures that appear in both sets are Iron Man. Of course, it's his Hall of Armor, it's his armory. Of course, he's going to appear in both sets. So, in the Hall of Armor from 2019, you got the Mark 50, which came in two more expensive sets, and those had their own little attachments. So it's really nice to get this figure here. I really love the curves. It just looks very nice overall. You can open up the helmet, as this is the MCU style. You have a face underneath that has the display, as well as an alternate face. I like this figure a lot. Then in the armory, you have this Iron Man, which comes in all of the Avengers 2020 Summer Wave, as well as a small mech and even a $20 junior set. You do have these parts, which are exclusive to the character, which are these little parts. Underneath, you have a clear head. Removing that torso and attachment, you will see there is a bit more back detailing, as well as this little build for rockets, which does not come with any of the characters in the Hall of Armor. So that's a nice playability thing, but this is about minifigures and minifigures only. And so, honestly, and also you can't lift up the helmet for this one. So, I prefer the Mark 50 for this one. So the Mark 50 wins this sub-round of a round, I guess. On the left, you have all of the exclusive suits that came in the Hall of Armor, and on the right, you have the exclusive suit that came in the Iron Man Armory. It should be pretty obvious the Hall of Armor wins. I don't even really need to show the figures. You just get 3, which is really good. You get the Mark 1, which is very unique, looks very nice, got some awesome detailing. You have, I believe this is the Mark 43, which is a suit we never would have gotten otherwise. Really nice. Love the black and gold design. And then you also have the Mark 7, which we previously got as a suitcase, which, again, this looks really nice. Almost looks like a bit like the comic book Rescue. And then over here, you have what's called the prototype Iron Man, or the Mark 2. Don't get me wrong, this figure is nice, but just look. It's no competition. These ones win. And while we're at it, I may as well show the Tony Stark here that comes in the armory. Exclusive combination of pieces. No pieces are exclusive. Has the same face as the Iron Man in the Hall of Armor. Just really nothing that special about this figure. So once again, the point goes to the Hall of Armor. Both sets include 2 bad guys, with the Hall of Armor including 2 Outriders, and the Armory including 2 AIM agents. I much prefer the design of the AIM agents. I think they're much cooler and have a nicer color scheme than the Outriders. You can see with the Outriders they have 4, or whatever it is, 4 extra arms, and you can see some back torso printing. But I just personally prefer how the AIM agents look. So the point this time is going to go to the Armory. So with the Hall of Armor winning 2 of the sub-rounds and the Armory winning 1, that means the Hall of Armor earns the point for this round. First, looking at the Hall of Armor for playability, you have a lot of customization that you can do. Each of these sections can be adjusted as you like, though it looks best like this. But that is not relevant. You can move this satellite piece around as well as these parts that are on the side. You can adjust these parts as they're attached via Technic axles. You also have this, which doesn't look that good, but that's for design. You can really adjust this, and you can even put a figure inside, as you can see. So, you have Igor, which you can just adjust. Really fun for a kid. You also have this little thing, which, I mean, you can also adjust, so that's pretty fun. There's a stud shooter, as well as these parts that you can move around and customize. And that's where a lot of the strength of this set comes, and is just how customizable you can have it be. And that's really one of the biggest strengths. Not too much else really that is here, so let's take a look at the Armory, see how it stacks up. The Armory has a couple more play features, but also a couple less, I guess. So, first off, you have this hot rod, which you can move around. You also have these stud shooters on it, which you can fire off, which is always a tried and true solid play feature. You can have a minifigure inside there. As for this Armory bit itself, you can adjust it once again. You can move this part around. You can detach it. You can have it in any way you want. I think the final major playability thing for the Armory is you can shoot off these parts, which are Power Blast, which again, tried and true play function. But I'm going to give the playability to the Hall of Fame, Hall of Armor, I mean, just because it's got a bit more, like, modularness to it. This one, there's not really so much, there's only not really that much you can do, and the hot rod, while it's a nice playability thing, it doesn't have much else besides the stud shooters and just the pushing it around and driving it. So, the point goes to the Hall of Armor. The design of the Hall of Armor is pretty solid. It's quite accurate, though there's some things that bug me, like with all these little parts. You can see these white parts that take up space. I don't know, they just don't look very good. You do have a lot of stickers in both of these sets, so you have this little control panel. You have this area, which I forgot to mention in playability, but you can have Iron Man on here and have his suit assembled, which automatically is one of the best possible play functions they could have included. And there's not so much else really going on with here. Like, it looks good, and it's accurate. There isn't a whole lot else really that goes on here. You do have this ugly block of a suit, which is probably the worst part of the entire set. Just looks so bad and blocky and chunky. It's this one doesn't look good. You have the dummy looks fine, like the little dunce cap inclusion, and it's fine. It rolls, and then there's not really a whole lot else. It's just a solid design, and you get a lot of these suit compartments to hold suits, which is really important in my opinion. Now with the Armory, you get this ugly looking hot rod. Tony's never had a hot rod in his Hall of Armor. The other two builds in the Hall of Armor make more sense because they're actually in there, like Igor and Dummy. But he's never had a hot rod in here, and this is just a terrible looking hot rod. Lego's done a lot better. Just looks really stupid. As for this is incredibly small, but that's more a value thing. You do have this nice little, like, area with a micro figure. It's like this little, I guess, like, 3D printer or something. It's really cool. Probably the best part of the set. You do have 4 stickers this time, each for a different suit that came out during this wave, which is cool. You also have these parts, which I don't like because they're just hanging down. Like, I don't know, it just doesn't sit right. You do have this thing that they include, this little box. The sandwich is fine. It's nothing amazing. You do have whatever on earth that is. But yeah, really not much to say in terms of design. It's not, like, these are fine, because they use the exact same design as the Hall of Armor, but you have this atrocious, so it's ugly. It's the best way to put it. It's ugly, and it's bad, and it's not needed. Anyways, let's move on to value. And so if you couldn't guess, the Hall of Armor wins the point for design. Now we move on to value. And this is going to be an interesting one. So to start with, the Hall of Armor, you get a very complete looking Hall of Armor. It's not the full circle, but it's a very complete half circle, and it looks very good. Like, this is probably quite iconic because you never really see the entire Hall of Armor. This is like the most you see, so it works very well. It's big, even though it doesn't have a price to piece ratio that people like. It's still quite big. Once you have everything attached, this thing takes up a lot of space, and that's not even counting Igor and the dummy as well as the figures. So it has quite a large footprint. And then you look over here for something that is half the price of this, and you just wonder what went wrong. You see this. Look at how little it makes up of, like, it makes up maybe half? Maybe? But not only do you only get this, but you also got these parts in the Hall of Armor. And you also had Igor, which I'm not super excited about how he looks, but you still got more stuff. Here you get this absolutely awful hot rod that I don't think anyone asked for or wanted. And then, once you remove the hot rod, you're left with this really small and wimpy, honestly, bit of armor compared to over here, which once you have everything connected, it has a really big footprint. And then, you look at the figures. This has one more figure than this set, so you would think, oh, this set is kind of bad because it only has one more figure. Well, it has 3 exclusive figures, 4 technically if you want to be super specific, because this Iron Man Mark 50 doesn't come with any, like, extra attachments, versus this set which comes with 1. Technically 3, but this is not really an exclusive figure because it's just an exclusive combination of prints, and this only has exclusivity because of the stickers, which I wouldn't even consider to be exclusive. It comes in, you could get this exact same figure without the armor in like $10, $20 sets. So basically, if you want to pay double the price for something that leaves, I would say, triple the footprint, then you're doing the smart thing. This set is definitely worth $60. This set is not worth $30. There is really no competition, really. You just see this and how big of a footprint it leaves when you have everything attached. And then you look over here, and it's so small. So, the value point goes to the Hall of Armor. And a surprise to no one if you listened this long. Now it's time for my opinion on these sets, and I've made my opinion pretty clear throughout. The Hall of Armor has some problems. I don't like the Igor. I feel like you maybe could have just done the Igor better, or just done something else with those pieces. But I still think this is a really good set. We've never gotten anything like it, really. The Malibu Mansion, which is a good set, had like 2 armor slots, which isn't really much. But this is really big. You get a lot of armor slots. And you get 3 exclusive Iron Men, which is fantastic. I absolutely love that. $60, I definitely think this is worth the money. It's probably the better value out of the 2 $60 endgame sets, and Even the Hulk helicopter drop, I think that is worth 60, even if it's a bit pricey. And then the Iron Man Armory is a massive disappointment. You go from this really cool, really decked out set, and then you just have this freaking thing. This thing literally ruins the set. The set could be $20, and I still wouldn't really like it, but it'd be better. But they included this awful looking hot rod, and it just derived the price up to $30. One exclusive Iron Man that isn't even that cool of an Iron Man. Like, these two are pretty similar. Like, when you just look at them. Like, the Mark 1 is obviously very different than this one, has much more advanced detailing and printing. But the Mark 1 is, like, we already got a silver Iron Man in this set. Why couldn't you not give us something else? Then the figure selection is just very, very subpar. Like, all the figures here are good, but you got three exclusive Iron Men in this set. You get one here, and it isn't even the best one they could have chosen. So, if you've been paying attention, the opinion goes to the Hall of Armor, and the Armory gets 1 point. So, let's tally up the score, I guess, and see who won. It's probably pretty obvious. In a surprise to absolutely no one who was paying attention, the Hall of Armor wrecks the Armory and wins this comparison. So, if you like these comparisons and would like to see more, drop a like and subscribe. It really does help the channel. I'll be doing more of these comparisons in the future, so stay tuned for those. Anyways, that's it for this video. See you guys later. Peace.